Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. Right now at 5, Congressman T.J. Cox and challenger David Valadao faced off in our 17 News studios after a campaign season filled with personal attacks. We'll have the highlights as the men met face-to-face.
And just one day to go until President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden go at it again on the debate stage after a bitter performance in the first and a canceled second matchup. The topics they'll address, and both are preparing, coming up.
Much anticipated guidance on when theme parks like Disneyland can reopen in California, setting off a bitter response from company officials toward the state on this Wednesday, October 21st, 2020. Good morning. It's 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher.
And we're taking a look at your forecast on this Wednesday. We are halfway through the work week. We'll get to that in just a moment.
Yeah, we have some breaking news this morning of traffic diverted for hours along Highway 178 due to a woman threatening to jump off a bridge. It started just before 1:30 this morning on the Fairfax Avenue overpass crossing Highway 178. Police responded to a call of a woman on the overpass outside the protective fencing. Here's a look at the scene early this morning where Highway 178 was shut down. It just reopened about 15 minutes ago. Police have not said what happened to the woman, but again, traffic is flowing now along the 178. Hall ambulance and firefighters were on scene but left just moments ago.
All right, now let's take a look at your forecast on this Wednesday. Like I said, we're halfway through the work week, and we've got a cooling trend on the way, right, Kev?
Yeah, we watch it that day by day. Even a little bit of cloud cover could be headed our way. And guess what? The air quality alert has been canceled out. Let's show you right now where the watches and warnings are. And you can see for Kern County, usually this is all grayed out because the air quality alert, it's canceled for now. Not to say it won't return. We've got some fog along the coastal areas. So if you're headed there this morning, expect the fog, and then we'll look for some sunny skies in the afternoon. Here's a look at Bakersfield right now, 63 degrees and east-southeast wind at 5 miles per hour. As we take a look at the hour-by-hour forecast today, upper 60s by 9 a.m., 11, 77, and then mid-80s as we progress into the afternoon. 39 degrees in Tehachapi right now. A cool start. Grab that jacket. Like I've been saying, as we get closer to the weekend, we're going to want to dust off those jackets because I think we're all going to need it a little bit compared to the numbers we've been seeing. We've got a light wind out of the east-northeast at 3, and as we take a look at the temperatures, you can see will rise today right near 80. Much more in your forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Kev. New this morning, a driver was arrested after leading Bakersfield police on a chase through East Bakersfield. The Bakersfield Police Department says an officer attempted to pull the driver over for a traffic stop in the area of Bernard Street and Mount Vernon Avenue just before 7:45 last night. The driver did not comply, taking off and leading police on a chase that eventually ended in the 300 block of Cooley Drive. Police say the driver ran from the vehicle to a nearby home. At least 6 units responded and surrounded the residence. BPD says the driver was eventually arrested just before 9:30. No word on the identity of the driver or why he or she fled officers.
A Navy pilot ejects to safety before his jet crashes into Kern County's high desert. This photograph shows the pilot just minutes after he ejected. It was sent to us by Lori Camarillo. It shows the pilot of the F-18 Super Hornet standing on the side of the road with his aircraft burning in the background. She took that picture just after the jet went down yesterday, northeast of Mojave. That crash happened just after 10 o'clock yesterday, the jet crashing near the historic rock formation known as Robbers Roost. The jet was on a routine training flight from Naval Air Station Lemoore in Fresno County. It was flying south of the China Lake Naval Air Weapons Station when there was a mishap. Multiple agencies are investigating the cause of this crash.
5:04 is your time now. CHP has identified a 72-year-old woman who died following a car crash on Highway 395 north of Ridgecrest. It happened Sunday around 4:30 p.m. CHP says Kyung Shim was driving south on 395 and made a left turn to go into a rest area. But CHP says Shim mistook a stop sign for a four-way stop and proceeded eastbound. That's when another vehicle hit hers. She was taken to a Ridgecrest hospital but died.
In your 17 Court Watch this morning, David Moses, sentenced as a teenager to life in prison for killing an 81-year-old woman, will go before a judge today to decide whether he will continue that sentence or have it reduced. Moses, who was 17 at the time, entered the house of Dorothy Session on April 14, 2010, and hit her during a burglary, knocking her down. She died from the assault. Moses and the two co-defendants, Angelique and Catilla Nash, were each convicted of murder. The Nash sisters, who never touched Session, were eventually released early due to changes to how juveniles can be sentenced, as well as changes to the felony murder rule, which now says a person must actually commit or aid in a killing or have intent to kill. At today's hearing, Moses' defense plans to introduce mitigating factors regarding Moses' youth and mental capacity at the time of his arrest. The judge could potentially reduce his sentence from life without the possibility of parole to 25 years to life.
5:05, and now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic in Kern County. Kern Public Health announced 54 new COVID-19 cases and 3 new deaths yesterday. COVID-19 has now claimed the lives of 413 people in Kern County since the start of the pandemic. Nearly 11,000 people are currently recovering at home, while 21 remain isolated in the hospital with more serious conditions. Our hospitalizations have not been this low since April. To date, the county has seen more than 33,000 positive cases of COVID-19. Much anticipated guidance concerning reopening theme parks and sports venues in California has been announced, but it wasn't what most fans wanted to hear. 17's Ashley Zavala breaks down the new rules.
State health leaders have spent the last several months developing these new guidelines for parts of the economy that typically have massive crowds. But the state's top health official says California will continue to reopen at a slow and strict pace. California's top health official Tuesday released new reopening guidelines for theme parks, allowing smaller parks to reopen at 25% capacity in counties that reach the state's orange moderate tier. Larger parks like Disneyland will remain shuttered indefinitely. Massive parks can't reopen until their counties reach the state's least restrictive tier, yellow and minimal.
We don't have the crystal ball. There is a path forward there. We do not know when, but we do know how, and I think we'll continue to put in the hard work to get us there one county at a time.
Professional sports fans can finally watch their team play in person in some parts of California. Galley announced Tuesday counties in the state's orange moderate tier can put fans in outdoor stadium seats at 20% capacity. Masks will be required, seats must be reserved, and no walk-up ticket sales are allowed. Ticket holders must be from within 120 miles, and tailgating is prohibited.
Prohibiting tailgating and ensuring that parking is at the stadiums and not in parts of the surrounding community. So all of those these are all requirements.
For now, state leaders say there are no plans to release any guidelines for college sports, but they will use these pro sports guidelines to see how they can be applied to college athletics in the future. Meanwhile, for youth sports, Dr. Galley says those guidelines are being developed and to stay tuned. Reporting in Sacramento, Ashley Zavala, 17 News.
There may be no Boo at the Zoo this year, but that hasn't stopped Calm from getting into the Halloween spirit. This weekend marks the beginning of the zoo's Howl, Screech, and Pumpkin Week. They're encouraging visitors to come dressed up in their costumes as they traverse the spine-chillingly decorated grounds. Due to COVID-19, everyone in attendance will be asked to keep social distancing in mind. The event takes place from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. this Saturday and Sunday, and again on the 28th through the 31st. Normal Calm admission fees apply. Calm officials say they plan for Boo at the Zoo to return next year. For more information, visit our website at kget.com. I went out there last week. It's so great to see the animals again, so head out and enjoy the grounds. It's beautiful weather right now. Welcome back. What did we do before search engines? They spit out millions of results in a fraction of a second. But as you search for information about the election or for the hot new gift this holiday season, have you ever thought about how search engines decide what to show you? NBC's Chris Pallone takes a look.
It wasn't that long ago when learning everything there is to know about something required a trip to the library or the encyclopedia, when Yahoo just described a rude or noisy person and Google was certainly not a verb. But now using search engines is as ingrained in everyday life as making breakfast or brushing your teeth. But have you ever wondered how search engines spit out millions of pages in less than a second when you hit search? Danny Sullivan is the public liaison for search at Google. He says the search giant's computers look at billions of web pages every day.
We look at pages all across the web. So many pages that I think we estimate that if you put it all into a book, it would go to the moon something like 12 times and back.
Matching the words in your search to those pages is easy. What's difficult is ranking those pages so the most relevant information is right there at the top of the first page. That's where signals come in, clues that a page is related to what you're looking for.
Well, a lot of people link to this page. It's like a lot of people pointing to that page. Maybe that's a good signal that that page is really a helpful page or is well regarded.
The Google algorithm also knows common synonyms of what you're searching for.
If you said, I'm looking for running shoes, we might also find jogging shoes.
The top result on a search page is what Google thinks is the most helpful to your search.
We have billions of searches that happen per day, and 15% of them are new, like we've never seen them before.
As with anything, it's up to the user to determine whether the content they find is reliable.
You should look at multiple sources.
As more people search for something, the results should get better and better, saving us all a trip to the library. Chris Pallone, NBC News.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back. Ford has revealed its next generation of self-driving vehicles. The fourth generation self-driving test car is built on the Escape hybrid platform. It uses the latest sensing and computing technology from Argo Artificial Intelligence. The new vehicle has improved detection of fixed and moving objects. It also has a refined sensor cleaning system and new hybrid battery technology to improve fuel consumption. Companies are betting big on electric vehicles, and soon we may all be plugging in instead of filling up. Liz McLaughlin shows us some of the latest new models.
GMC's going big on electric vehicles, literally and figuratively. Tuesday night unveiling its new Hummer EV, one of 20 electric vehicles the manufacturer plans to release by 2023. General Motors is investing more than $2 billion in its U.S. manufacturing operations, largely to increase production of electric vehicles. And while a super-size EV is among GM's electric bets, others are thinking small.
It registers as a motorcycle, so the insurance rates are lower and everything like that.
The three-wheeled, single-seat, solo electric vehicle from Electromechanica is taking aim at city commuters.
That space between micromobility and passenger cars.
With a 100-mile range and top speed of 80 miles per hour.
The price point is very attainable. It's $18,500.
And it could save you money down the road, too. According to a recent Consumer Reports analysis, owning a plug-in electric vehicle today will save thousands in lifetime ownership costs compared to a gas-powered vehicle.
The world is headed away from fossil fuels and towards alternative fuels or electric vehicles or hydrogen. Of course, we have to. Not just for our generation, but for our children, too.
Growing interest in EVs to save money and the environment. Liz McLaughlin, NBC News.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Welcome back. Your time now is 5:30. Great to have you with us. And it looks like we're going to at least start inching toward that cool down today, so that's some good news.
That is some good news. Let's take a look at your forecast on this Wednesday as we have, technically it is fall, Kevin, but I think we actually have some fall-like temperatures in the forecast later down the road, right?
Yeah, as we head into the weekend, fall-like temperatures. In the meantime, temperatures are going to be status quo into the 80s. This morning, nice and comfortable for you, though. We are in the 60s. Bakersfield now at 63. An east-southeast wind at 5 and visibility at 9 miles. As we take a look at our temperatures here, you can see as we go throughout today, we're expecting 86 by 3 o'clock. Then we'll slip back into those 60s again tonight. Tomorrow morning by 5 a.m., 62. Into the mountains, you're in the 30s right now at 41. No winds to talk about at this time. And as we take a look at the temperatures throughout the day, we'll be rising near 80 by 1 o'clock. And then tonight, we'll be dipping down into the 40s. And tomorrow morning by 5 a.m., we should be right near 48. Much more in your forecast. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. Your time now is 5:31. 17 News is your local election headquarters, and one day until debate day. This will be the last time we see President Trump and Joe Biden on stage together before the election. Tracy Potts is tracking the latest on Decision 2020 and the hordes of people all over the country already turning out to vote.
Long lines across America marking a surge in early voting. with less than 2 weeks to go.
And I wasn't interested in the past, actually, but I think now it's very important to do so.
More than 30 million people have already voted, 2/3 of the early vote total from 2016. NBC tracks more Democrats than Republicans so far. Both candidates are honing in on Pennsylvania, where polls are deadlocked.
If we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing.
President Trump protesting a Supreme Court ruling allowing Pennsylvania ballots to be counted up to 3 days after the election. And he's chiding the state for not reopening sooner.
You guys aren't even open yet. What the hell is going on with your state?
President Obama campaigns in Philadelphia today for Joe Biden, who's behind closed doors preparing for tomorrow's debate. Topics include families, race, climate, national security, leadership, and COVID-19.
Make no mistake, we are in the second surge.
With much of the country overwhelmed with new cases, the candidates are hitting the airwaves
Joe Biden nos permitiría arreglar los daños
and hitting the handful of states that could determine the outcome. As of today, financial disclosures show the Biden campaign has a huge cash advantage, almost 3 times as much on hand as President Trump, who has raised more than $1 billion since taking office. Tracy Potts, NBC News.
And a new NBC News SurveyMonkey poll shows that a majority of Americans do not trust what President Trump has said about his health since testing positive for COVID-19 earlier this month. Or last month, I should say. Poll results show 52% of adults say they do not trust his statements about his health. 38% say they do trust those statements. President Trump announced that he tested positive for the coronavirus on October 2nd. When asked by NBC's Savannah Guthrie last week to disclose the last time he tested negative, President Trump said he did not know or remember. President Trump and Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden were required to tell the commission on presidential debates that they tested negative prior to the debate on September 29th and will be asked to do the same for the final debate tomorrow night, as per the commission's rules.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.